the next I'm like, welcome to the next episode of the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. I am Cynthia Conte.
And I am Jeandra LeBeauf, and I am still wearing my ponytail, and I'm still loving it. And I am excited for who we've got coming in the studio today, but...
Are you all right, girl? You're so excited that you're getting choked up over here.
I lost my breath, but until then, our guests will be joining us momentarily. But let's catch up with each other. We've been together all day, but we learned some really interesting things today about Michelle Corrales-Lewis, cut the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame a check.
Yeah.
And that's such an amazing event, and I wasn't aware fully of all the details that go into planning something like that.
And no one does, really, unless it's actually spoken about. And that's why we need the media. We need the support of all the fans to keep pushing this through, because it is the 10th anniversary, and we would like to see it continue on from here on out. But it's such a fun event. It is August 26th and 27th at Resorts World here in Viva Las Vegas. Viva. So you guys should come out and go online, nvbhof.com. You can purchase tickets. You can purchase a table. You can support the event if you can't make it. But it was really good to just sit here with her and then just chit chat.
It was a labor of love.
It is 2 years labor of love that she's been planning this. That's a long time.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty epic. And then we spent some time with Nico Ali Walsh. He was so sweet, so
cute. He is Nico Ali Walsh, the grandson of Muhammad Ali.
In case you didn't know.
If you all didn't know, Top Rank always lets us they always remind us, which we do love. But he was so fun. He was as young as he is. He's so well spoken. And he's not braggadocious. Like the fact that he only just called himself Nico Walsh. And I love that because, he's owning up to who he is. I mean, that's his family, but he has that name, the Ali name. And so he's making his poppy proud.
Exactly. He's coming into his own as a man, college graduate. He's 5-0 now. He's looking for his next fight, coming back this summer. So we will see what the path will be like for him.
Mm-hmm. But we're going to talk about some fights because there's a very big fight coming up in 2 weeks in New York, in Barclays Center.
Yes, ma'am.
Gervonta Tank Davis takes on Rolly Romero, the Dwarf Slayer, which I do love. I mean, shout out to Rolly. Good for you that you're hashtagging yourself the Dwarf Slayer because you gotta do something big. It's against Tank Davis. He's one of the hardest punchers in boxer. He is a star. I don't care what anyone says. This man, the Gervonta Tank Davis, is a tank. And this fight was supposed to happen. Unfortunately, there were things that happened on Rolly's side, and now that's all cleared up. But this fight's happening, and he is looking to knock out Tank in the first round.
Yes, indeed. That's some big shoes to fill. First round knockout. That's a big feat for anybody, but you gotta, if you want to stomp with the big dogs, you gotta get off the porch, and he's ready to do that. He's looking for a big fight. He's gonna finally get his time with Tank, and it's gonna be interesting to see where they land.
Do you think that's a very
Hell
bold
no.
It's a bold statement.
No.
Rolly.
I'm
First
sorry.
round, you don't even give Tank any rounds? Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm sorry if that was highly unprofessional, but I will just say in my professional opinion, I think a first round knockout is unlikely.
Yeah.
But you never know.
It's boxing. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
God, let's just imagine in a perfect world.
Oh, gosh.
If Rolly did knock out, not even in the first round, but what if he hypothetically did knock out Tank?
That would be wild.
That would be the biggest shock of boxing.
I would put that as an upset up there with like Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like that level of upset. But if you don't believe your own hype, who will?
Yeah, that's true. And Rolly could. Rolly packs a punch. He did say when Deontay Wilder he's not necessarily retired. He just hasn't fought since he lost to Tyson Fury in the rematch. Mm-hmm. But he says he's the hardest puncher in boxing next to Deontay Wilder.
Well, we're going to see about that.
We're going to see.
We're going to see about that. But it's good to see that he has some energy and he's doing his part. He's not just phoning it in for a check. He's talking. He's putting himself out there. And hopefully we get a really, really exciting fight because he's ready.
He's ready. And I saw on the Schmo podcast that he would love to fight Ryan Garcia in the future in the welterweight division.
I like that,
I
actually.
do too. He said he believes, and maybe he's just saying this just to say it, because you know what? Why not? Ryan is looking for a fight, because we can even talk about Ryan and Isak Cruz. That Ryan Garcia is a bigger puncher than Tank. We'll find out. Your face says it all.
I've never heard that before. You know, usually when you talk about people's skill sets, people defer the power to Tank. They defer the speed to Ryan. But that's very interesting. It's very, very trickery, shenanigans.
The trickery. And then we just touched on Ryan Garcia. The WBC ordered that fight to happen. And now, of course, we go to Twitter world. And Ryan is very vocal of what he says. And they're saying now the Isak Cruz fight is not happening, which I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
And Sean Gibbons says, well, if the sanctioning bodies understand that there are things happening with the fighters, that there are fights already lined up, blah, blah, blah. Like, these fighters just can't go on. Like, they can't just sanction a fight that has to happen next. So now, allegedly, Ryan's team and Golden Boy, whoever is making this fight happen, they've sent everything to Isak Cruz's team, and then it was supposed to be on, and now they're saying all the powers that be, it's not. So I'm a little confused. Like, I really wish we just need to know who's lying, because we really want to know. They're playing with our hearts, Jay.
Playing with our emotions. Is it a money thing? If it's a money thing, just say that.
Yeah.
If y'all want some more money, just tell us that. I can respect that. But aside from the fight with Tank, this could be the biggest payday for him fighting Ryan Garcia that's saying no. So what are they offering?
Yeah. Because let's see. Isak Cruz fought Tank. And he did pretty damn well.
Yes, he did.
I think anyone fighting Tank Davis, and if you're able to go more than 5 rounds with him and still be able to walk and still be able to punch, I think you've done you've done well.
You know what's been very interesting in just the discussion over Tank and Rolly and Isak and just all these guys, because that's a very hot division now. I enjoyed watching people get mind blown when Canelo said that his favorite fighter was to watch Tank Davis. And like the factions of fans who like to argue, and it was just like
they dissected it. Like it's like, oh my God, of all fighters, Canelo had to say him. But you know what? Respect to Canelo. He recognizes real.
Exactly. I mean, these fighters, these are real fighters. These are not armchair fighters. These are not people sitting on their couches. They know what's up. Canelo knows what's up. Tank, Shakur, they all respect each other in that realm. Even Terrence Crawford and Spence, for all they're talking, at the root of everything is respect.
Yeah.
Is respect. And
because they know you're a fighter, they go into the ring, put their lives on their line just so they can feed their family. And knowing that they might not come out, that's respect.
Yes, it is.
So everyone should jump on board and respect them, because just because we all like to talk shit about fighters and what they do, what they say, at the end of the day, they're putting their lives on the line for us.
For our entertainment.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, Rolly. That's some big stomping right there.
I know
we're
trying. Trust me, we've trying to get him, but our schedules are not.
I know.
Oh man, but maybe like after the fight, he can come talk his shit, whether he is victorious or not. Because damn, it doesn't matter. Because whatever happens, I want to know who he's gonna call out next, because he's always got something to say.
Yeah, I wonder what the betting odds for you fans out there that are into gambling and all that. Drop in the comments. Let us know what the betting odds are for this fight. I want to learn more about betting.
We're going to bring on a guest here that knows betting. I'm so fascinated, since we're here in Vegas and so many other states are open to betting. California is not. There's so many times when I lived in LA not too long ago, I'm like, I just want to bet on the fight. Oh, I can't. I'm in LA. Never mind.
Let me tell you how dumb I am. So I live in Inglewood, as y'all know, and the Hollywood Park Casino is right down the street. And I saw a sign there that said they had like a sports book there. I got so excited. I'm like, yes, I'm going to go bet on this fight. And they were like, no, ma'am. You can't bet here.
You're not in LA? Yeah, you can only horse bet. Have you bet on horses before?
When I was a little girl. My dad gave me a couple dollars. I bet on not Seabiscuit, but like something like that.
Yeah, and then we also saw Floyd was supposed to have a fight, and sadly that had to get canceled because the president of the UAE, he died. He passed away. Was it the president or the
president?
Yeah, the president. So how many days of no work? I thought it was 3 or 4, and then I think when Michelle Krause is like 40 days, I was like, damn. But I don't know, so don't quote me. But I remember that I read that there's no work for 3 or 4 days out of respect. So I don't know how that's going to happen. I mean, they've been training and to fly everyone, to fly back over there. And there's actual legit fights on there. I mean, besides Floyd being the exhibition against, I don't know the name, I forgot because I haven't paid much attention to who he's fighting. Because no one really cares who he fights. We just want to know how Floyd does. But also, and and Delphine Persoon is fighting on that for the WBC silver. So there's actual fights on the card. And is it Badu Jack?
Yeah. He's always involved.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
And Anderson Silva. There you go. Anderson Silva is on the card. After he had that first round knockout against Tito Ortiz on the Triller card a couple cards ago. So, but how incredible is that to be up in the middle of heaven, basically, fighting on a helipad?
Ooh, just the idea of that just makes me feel a little like anxious. That's way
Are you scared of heights?
I am, but I'm not.
Okay.
It's like if I'm on a balcony, I can look over, but I'm still like, but I can still look, but it just makes me like, I'm not in a plane or in an enclosed building. I can look down like, ooh, that's cool. But if I'm in an open space, like where I can feel the air, I'm like, oh no, the demons.
You feel the legs wiggle and jiggle?
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, for me. I'll watch that from home. But like in a glass building or something, I can look down and be like, ooh, that looks neat. Yay.
You're like, is this glass safe though?
I'm safe. Like those people who go to those buildings, like they have downtown, you can walk on the glass and oh hell no, I won't do that.
Oh man.
Not for me.
No, don't be like that, Jay.
I'm trying to, I'm as I get older, I'm trying to do things to step outside of my comfort zone. What's the last non-comfort zone thing you did?
You know what? This is so weird. Okay, so since I had a baby, I finally joined my gym. And usually when I have trainers, they measure me and whatnot. But this was the first time I actually let my trainer, not totally naked, like in my sports bra, and they measured me. I still don't know my numbers because I'm like, I'll get crazy on it. I just go based on like how I fit in my clothes. But that was I was so uncomfortable. Like I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror because I'm like, I never had this, but pre-baby, like it was like, and as a female in any sorts, it's like you just want to get your body back as fast as possible, but you have to be gentle and kind to your body because I just birthed a baby.
That's a miracle.
I birthed a baby.
I don't think people really appreciate that is a miracle.
It is.
To carry a child to term, bring them to
and healthy,
life.
Yeah.
That is truly a miracle, and that's why we should respect people's reproductive rights. We're not going to get too political
period,
on here,
yes.
but respect people's reproductive rights. But it is a miracle. So yes, show yourself some grace.
And it was really hard, and so I was just kind of like, okay, let me just be very uncomfortable and just let myself not hang because I didn't gain a lot of weight. It's just I know my body is not the way it's supposed to be, and I was like, okay, just be free. Just do what you need to do. And she was fine. And I was like, she's like, it was that bad? I'm like, yeah, it was bad. For me, it was bad because I'm not used to people looking at my body and like measuring and doing things. Because we measure our own selves. We're our worst critics.
Right.
So I think that was the most my comfort zone. And then everything else, I'm pretty cut and dry. I do the same shit every day.
I love that. But that's good, though. It's good. Somebody's going to watch this and be like, yeah, I feel the same way. I think a lot of people, male, female, feel about that. And that's awesome. And you birth a whole human being.
Yeah. I mean, it's like almost kind of like a very mild. I don't want to say it because someone might say it like body dysmorphia. Everyone has it in a certain way because what you see in the mirror, you see it one way, and then how other people view you is very different. But you always know who you think you are or what you want to be or what you want to be like again. So that was for me. And it was just like, it's the journey of just trying to, balance work, balance a baby, and trying to get your workout in, trying to do this, trying to do that. Like, there's a lot of work.
When you get to a certain point where you can't have that rocked out 6-pack, 12-pack, like look like, I don't want to say any names, but when you retire and you go in a different direction, it's really hard to maintain your body no matter what, especially when you're a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a Floyd or a Bernard Hopkins or people who entire mantra.
Sugar Ray Leonard
looks amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I know there's so many things because we've been shooting some shows, so we haven't been able to see what's going on in boxing Twitter today.
Yeah.
So I know that Rolly had his workout, and then obviously we know Tank Davis is having his fight next week. Let's see. Let's go into our things.
I'm looking at boxing scene, and the first article is from Lyle Fitzsimmons, and it's talking about Charlo's unification at 154 creates layers of big fight options. So 154, his brother's at 160, who's trying to be, I imagine, undisputed or something in a sense. And then right below him is Errol Spence, who wants to be undisputed. So if you're Jermell Charlo, which way do you go? Because at the post-fight press conference, he's like, maybe I might move up to 160. Are you going to fight your brother?
No, but that's the thing. That's the thing. And I remember someone has asked him, and it's kind of like the Klitschko brothers. They have promised each other they would never fight each other.
I don't know about them two. They might scrap. The Klitschko brothers wouldn't. They might scrap.
You know what? Sometimes I think based on some of their IG wars when them talking shit to each other, maybe.
Yeah.
We got to ask Derek James.
I'll watch it. We got to get him back. Go watch our Derek James interview.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Funny. Let's see what else is up here.
Oh, I see. Oh, Cynthia Estrada. I want all the belts at 105, all the belts at 108. Take all the belts from Esparza at 112. Might even eat my way up to Bantam and take belts there too. Hungry for greatness. Go on, girl.
Okay, talk your shit. Cynthia, yes.
She can.
She's the champ. Boy, I love the evolution of her and her career from being, she used to be so quiet. So quiet. Now she talking that big champion talk, and I like it.
Yeah.
I like the energy. The women are doing it big. And it's exciting. It's exciting. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk with her in the near future.
Yeah.
She is sort of negotiating.
We don't know.
We don't know. She's posting cryptically, but.
Yep. We just want to know. She wants to fight. And Sinisa, I know that you watch, I know you follow us on Instagram, and I know you watch our stuff. We really, really want you here. We really, really want you here. We want you to sit here on the brown table talk and talk your shit. That's all.
For sure. The numbers for Charlo Castaño apparently peaked at 832,000 viewers. Wow.
That's a good one.
That's some big numbers on Showtime. But see, again, I mean, don't put everything on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Fans will respond. Folks, money is tight.
It's, it's surprising. So that was on Showtime because I know there's no more Fox BBC. Mm-hmm. So those need to go on Showtime, but I'm not sure. But I'm so happy that some of the best fights right now have been on ESPN free or ESPN Plus and Showtime free, unless, if you don't have those things then. But it's better than spending $75 on top of paying a fee, kind of like the DAZN Plus pay-per-view or something. I don't know. I'm like paying a yearly fee on top of a $70 fee. I'm like, we all don't make that kind of money just yet.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm always intrigued by the UFC business model because all of their big fights are pay-per-view fights.
Yeah.
Like every single one. And people are buying them. I want to know what their pay-per-view numbers look like. Since people like to contest, buys and buys, like they do a pay-per-view like every few weeks, it seems like.
Yeah.
And, somebody buying them. Dana keeps doing them.
Yeah, they do. Let's see. I'm like sitting here. I'm going through the feed, and Teofimo has another message to all the new undisputed champs. They just said we'll make everyone else undisputed at this point to defeat the purpose. LOL. Just remember, I brought the trend back.
Wow, Teofimo.
It's not a trend.
It's not a trend, sir. I'm so sad to see him going out like this.
Yeah, I mean, I read that, some people say, okay, he's completely lost it mentally. But I don't know. I haven't seen him. I mean, I'm just going based off what he tweets on Twitter. Mm-hmm. But I really hope he's in a better space, in a better mind space. I don't know. Like I'm afraid during the Devin Haney and George Kambosos. Like I'm curious to see if he's going to be tweeting like crazy.
Absolutely is. He absolutely is.
And then, Inoue Donaire 2 is set for June 7th in Japan.
Wow.
It's on a Tuesday on ESPN. So at least we get to see that on a Tuesday.
Another great interview.
5
of
a.m.
ours.
Yeah.
Him and Rachel Donaire. Go watch those too.
Oh, and then there's that one girl. Did you read that she's in a coma?
Oh, yeah.
Alejandra Ayala, I believe her name is. I hope she's doing all right. Prayers to her, and I hope they said that she was in a coma, that she's, God forbid nothing has happened to her, but I really hope that she gets out of this safe, with a safe and speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
And then on a different note, so you saw Josh Taylor gave up his belt, or he was stripped because he didn't want to fight his mandatory. So now he's decided. Well, they say Taylor had to relinquish his WBA belt. No, it's not relinquished. The WBA stripped him
They took it back.
because he ain't fighting. But is now set to defend his WBC, WBO, and IBF belts against Jose Cepeda. That's a good fight. So it's interesting that he's going to stay at his weight class to fight. Usually when you become undisputed, you move up to 147. And I remember he was calling out Crawford. But we know that fight can't happen because it's Errol Spence. I mean, do you think Josh Taylor should move up to 147 since he's already claimed undisputed? Like, what is he going to do? Try to fight for the belt that he should have fought his mandatory for?
But I remember when Crawford became undisputed at 141. Once he was undisputed, he moved up.
Yeah.
And so he was right there. I think our guest
Oh, my
is
God.
here.
I think our guest is here. We have less than 20 minutes to get it on. So we're just going to have to
We're just going to talk like
Yep. Well, the things that we wanted to ask him at the beginning of the show, we're not going to be able to really get to ask him.
We'll see about that. What's this say? When they asked Loma about fighting me, he said he had no interest with Paulie Malignaggi. He says everybody just talks his name.
Shakur will fight anybody. He is willing to fight anyone and everyone to prove that he is one of the best. And I think he is such a dangerous fighter that he's going to be in the boxing history books for a very long time. People are going to be talking about him. He's still so young. And it's just the way we saw him fight against Oscar was just incredible. It was like he toyed him. I felt so bad. It was like playing with a rag doll almost. It was too easy. He made it look so easy.
He is a beautiful fighter. So him and Boots Ennis, those two kids, young men, are amazing fighters.
Yeah.
Amazing technicians, and just the way they dissected both of their opponents. Crazy.
Oh, that's incredible.
Crazy.
Can we just tell them to skip the line and just zoom in here? Because we got like 21 minutes.
Yeah, what's hood?
I know. Sorry, guys. I know that, yeah, Chance. Go tell him. Chase. I'm like, Chance. Is he here? Tell him to zoom in here because we got 21 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. Well, dun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh! And he's here.
Sorry it took so long. It's like,
It's all
media
right.
it's like, and it's been like crazy. It's this way every day for me.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's like
We don't want to get our makeup on your shirt.
It's all
I
good. It's all
know.
good.
As always,
Okay.
Mr. Leonard
So we
Ellerbe.
good with everything?
And he's on the phone
Okay.
Handling business,
All right.
making money
businessman.
all day,
So we'll
every day.
We'll talk later. Okay.
He's not
Thank
just
you.
a
We wanna make sure
businessman.
we
He's a
The business.
businessman.
Man, it's just been crazy.
No.
I think you got a little fight coming up. I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of
Yeah. Huge.
Huge. We were just talking about him so we could fill time.
Sorry I'm late.
No.
Again, it's like I got held up. It's like we had to, it was so much stuff that
it's going on.
You know what that means, Leonard? You're just gonna have to come back.
That's no problem.
Yay.
There's no problem. Again, it's like I've been knowing you ladies for a very long time, and I'm all about supporting the movement and whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Leonard, go. You go.
Okay,
You go.
well, we're excited to have you here. So when people watch this, they'll see that you're fresh coming from the Rolly media workout that was today at the Mayweather gym. Rolly says he's sleeping Tank in round 1.
Yeah.
If he sleeps Tank in round 1, is that the biggest upset in boxing ever?
I wouldn't say ever, but I would just say in recent memory. Because just like with anything, there are a lot of people out there who aren't giving him a chance.
Yeah.
And I just have to remind people, it's just like, let's just take a couple steps back. Just recently, it's like you look at Lopez, Kambosos, and people are lying if they say, "Oh, we were picking Kambosos." They would be lying.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't even picking George. I just thought that T.O. would go in there and he would do what he'd do, and he'd be on to the next. But what happens?
Upset.
Yeah, Rolly really believes in himself. Like we were just talking about, if you don't believe in yourself, then who is? I mean, anything can happen in boxing.
Yeah, and I've been around this sport for a very, very long time, and that's how I know that, somebody can be a heavy favorite, and it all can change with just one shot.
Yeah.
Having all those years in boxing, what keeps you up? What keeps you excited? I mean, monetarily, I'm sure it's always great when business is booming, keep you in all the fly threads. But what gets you excited still? Because when you've had this many years in.
Well, I really enjoy what I do, but now I'm kind of social media has changed a lot, and sometimes you have to just kind of take a step back to kind of like smell the roses and then kind of just re-energize yourself. But I think what still motivates me is having the opportunity to make a difference in these young men's lives, with putting them in a position to be able to feed their families. It's very, very important. And we got our hands in a lot of things that people don't know about. People just on the surface, they say, oh, well, they only got this and that, but we do a lot of stuff.
All right, so I know there's a lot of speculation of what we see and what we read, and this is Tank's last fight with Mayweather Promotions. Do you know, or can you say where he's going to go next? Is he going to just be his own promoter, kind of like Floyd, just be his own promoter? Will you still be part of, like a mentor to him since you've been in his corner? Will Floyd still mentor him? Can you give us this tea on that?
There really isn't any tea. I mean, there's a lot of talk out there about a lot of things, but I don't worry about that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, because at the end of the day, just like with any business, it comes, people have contracts and they come to an end and you make a decision on what you want to do. But one thing I do know about Gervonta, he's a very intelligent young man. He's matured a great deal over the years, with working with us, with Floyd and myself. We've had numerous conversations about just things outside of boxing, and he's learned quite a bit, and he's matured.
Yeah, he really has.
Matured.
Big time.
He's a father now, and he's really a proud father, and so a lot of things change in your life. But what I do know, there are a lot of times that there are people out there that who don't have your best interests at heart. Not saying that is this particular situation, but it happens all the time. You have people out there, we call them the haters. They, when they see something is working, they always want to play the divide and conquer thing. But one thing I do know that, he's an extremely hardworking young man, and he's put his faith and trust in us to guide his career, and we've done our thing. I can honestly say that I'm not one that likes to toot my horn and our horn as a company, but we did our thing. We've taken this young man. He was 11-0 when he first signed with us, and he was a 6-round fighter. Within 14 months, He's fighting for the championship of the world.
It's incredible. It's just when they always talk about, oh, Tank isn't a name, but he sells out. He sold out pre-sale tickets. I think when Eddie Hearn, I love it. I know when you love to hear, is that your telephone? Yes.
That mine?
It's the business.
It's the business, man.
I got
all right.
two.
Oh, hold on.
phones.
This is my front gate. I got my
It's
front
all
gate.
right.
It's okay. The work is never done.
I tell you, they be on you.
So
No.
back to Tank's maturity, and I think about the first time I ever saw him fight on TV on a card, and he was just so young and just so green and so new, but he was knocking people out. And it's been very interesting, like you mentioned, the social media dynamic and haters and commentators and spectators and all of these different things. But now, when you have all of the other biggest names in boxing saying, this is must-see TV for us. We want to see Tank fight. All the big names say that. Do you think that has the hate intensified? Is it dialed back a little? What do you think is the perception? Because you're super active on social.
I think that, sometimes as a boxing community, it's like people just sometimes just hate to see people having success. And see, I'm probably the greatest example of it because I've lived this for the last 20-some years, being with the best guy that's out there, the guy who's made the most money.
Floyd Mayweather Jr., if people don't know.
The people who are just waking up from their
They're like, who's this guy talking about who?
the guy that has set the tone and actually, these fighters, I know I'm kind of switching gears a little bit.
No,
but
it's all right.
These fighters should be thanking Floyd Mayweather, all of them. Because he changed the game. He changed the game where the fighters are looked upon as the guys who deserve the lion's share of the money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And ever since it happened with Floyd, then the fighters, he set the example and the tone that the fighters start getting paid.
But to some credit for some people, that some fighters will say, I deserve the money, but you have to also perform. If you're not that good of a boxer, if you're not selling tickets or you don't draw a fan, you can't be demanding X amount of dollars. If it doesn't make sense, So some of these fighters
say that again. Oh my God, that is so true.
You hear that, my Cynthia-isms?
No, that
like
is so
that
true,
Cynthia.
Cynthia, because, at the end of the day, it's all about the bottom line.
Yeah.
It really comes down to that. And one of the most important things is that being a successful fighter, you have to have a great team. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Floyd would be the first person to tell you that he was blessed to have a great team who, when he surrounded himself with people who were dedicated to a particular goal. And you don't find many people in this world who are willing to make the kind of sacrifices that it takes to reach that kind of level. I mean,
Tunnel vision.
But
look at the life that
The
you've
fruits.
created for yourself.
because I understood
Yeah.
the big picture.
Because it went from negative to positive.
Yeah.
It's like working 20-hour days for 15 years straight, 7 days a week. But I understood what it was about, and that's always kind of been my goal, is to help other people. And I have a great team. We have a great team, and we've taken that and put Tank in that same kind of situation where it's like all hands on deck, and this is what you got to do, and just follow our lead, and you're gonna have a lot of success.
I wanted to talk about some of those sacrifices. I mean, it's a very different movement now because there are other tools, and people can reach out to brands themselves. And, you guys have a coordinated effort in the way that you do it, but, people have that ability. I feel like I saw a story once that said that Floyd used to show up at clubs and do like meet and greets or something like that when he was on the come up. I mean, fighters now don't even want to sign autographs for a few fans. But I mean, can you clarify that for me? Just some of the early come up things
When he was pretty boy.
Yeah.
When he was very young.
Yeah. So when he was very young, we used to, like, for an example, we used to drive from Las Vegas to Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh my God!
Wow. That's
Okay,
not
and-
close.
No Teslas, no.
26 hours. 26-hour drive. And we used to drive straight.
Oh.
And the whole goal was we were going to go to, like, stops along the way and promote. And that's the original grassroots
That's
of it.
grassroots.
We took flyers for, like, his fights, and we would go in the hood and we would pass out flyers. We'd go to restaurants. We'd go to not the hood. We would go to the other side, and pass out flyers, gas stations, whatever it took, and people, whether they threw it away or, but we spent our own money, marketing.
Yeah.
And then when we would stop at these places, then, we go to the gyms and we would actually go there, and the fans could actually reach out and touch you, and so that was on the come up, and we would do this maybe twice every 4 months.
Wow.
Golly.
And when I say we drive, when I say we drive 26 hours straight, we had our guys that were with us, and we would just take turns driving, 8-9 hour stretches, and stop, and it was no when I say drove straight through, stop and get something to eat, but not even get out the car kind of thing. Just go through the drive-through and just gas up and just keep it moving.
See, no one knows about this. They always hear about just Money Mayweather and how he makes his millions and billions doing exhibitions and doing whatever he wants because he earned the
that.
right. He's doing what fighters need to do, like social media. People, this is such a tool, and people do not use it.
No,
we have to use it too, but as a fighter, that's your grassroots. This is a grassroots for the fighters now.
Yeah.
And they just think, oh no, I have to hire this. I don't want to. I'm too. I'm like, you cannot be Money Mayweather without being Pretty Boy, or even before a Pretty Boy. You got to do it. You got to get boots on the ground and do it your damn self.
And another example is that you see a lot of the more successful guys that they kind of get it a little bit, but some of the younger guys, they really don't. They don't understand the importance of doing media.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Making yourself accessible to people, to tell your story, to talk about, and Floyd was willing to do any and everything. It was like we started out, we were going to BET, and we would do that little small stuff, and just building relationships along the way. And it paid off because when we eventually got to the time that we would want to do this on our own, it was like, okay, now we got to roll up our sleeves, and now we own our own product. So we really got to protect our brand and be responsible for what we do and put great content out there. And everywhere we went, we were filming everything and just talking to everybody. And it was the little steps along the way, because boxing as a whole, it's just a small market. That's why it's such a niche sport. I can tell you to the T how many people who actually support boxing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many people who actually buy the pay-per-view. Because I have the reports from the first very pay-per-view we ever did. I know what the market. I have mastered this.
How many was it?
It's a couple 100,000 people that are diehard fans, but that's it. That's
from Tank's first pay-per-view, or which?
No, I'm just saying
the first one you ever did.
I'm saying as a whole, as a boxing as a whole, there's only a couple 100,000 fans that are diehard boxing fans. Now, whether they decide to watch, buy, or whatever, but that's the whole concept of it. Like, that's everything. So that's as big as you're going to be unless you think outside of the box on how you're going to get more fans.
Yeah. Okay.
And we figured that out. We figured that out early on because, again, it's like this is what dedication is all about, and you having a great team is about. And not one person can do it by themselves.
No.
Right.
Team. There's no me in team.
Nope. But there's an A in Apple. I wanted something clever to put on it.
I know. And sadly, we're going to have to wrap soon because we have another guest coming in, Randy Couture, so they need the studio.
Oh, okay.
That's why we're going to have to bring you on for another thing because we really wanted to get to find out who you are, Leonard, because we don't know your story. But anything before that, because
we can ask him.
Which one? Is your net worth really $10 million? The reason why we say this... So Nico Ali Walsh was on here earlier, and he says, those net worth, they say I'm worth $3 million. He's like, I am? Where's that money? So I came up on my thing. I'm like, I'm going to just ask him randomly.
Leonard Ellerbe.
So can you say yes or no?
I have been very successful. and again, I have worked very hard, and
You have.
I built the most successful fighter in the world ever.
Okay, aside from Tank Davis, is there any other fighter right now that you can see right now that can become a superstar? Not Devin Haney, like someone that's like still
That you guys are growing.
prospect. Yeah, a prospect. It could be out of Mayweather or somebody else in some other promotion.
Oh, it's several. I think it's when I say several, I think it's a couple.
Boots?
But definitely.
Oh, I'm really high on Boots.
No,
I like his style.
I told this little story earlier. It was a few years back, and Floyd called me. He was somewhere out of the country. He was like, "Yo, L." He was like, "Who the F is this dude, Boots?" He was like, "He is the real deal." And I was like, "I've been telling you that." He said, we need to get him. And I said, just be patient. You know, I said, he's a tremendous fighter. He's working with this person right here, and they're doing a really good job with them. And we never interfere with anything anybody else is got going. But he's definitely going to be the future. And Floyd thinks so high of him, like the success in the ring. Like he's going to be a fighter that's going to be like him, that's going to be unbeaten. And you know why? It's because his dedication.
Yes.
His dedication.
Yep.
He
Hard
should
work,
fight-
dedication.
He should fight Danny Garcia in his next fight, and they
Yeah.
should do all Philly showdown.
Yeah.
They could do it at the Lycorius. How do you say that?
I don't know.
That place in Philly, that big arena that's at the Temple.
Danny's a smart guy. Danny's a smart guy, and it's like Boots is the new guy.
Yeah.
And Danny's still fighting and doing his thing, but Danny know what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's much respect because Danny's my guy. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Danny's not trying to do
Because
that.
Vince is calling out Errol, and he ain't
That ain't
fighting
gonna
Errol
happen
next.
right
He
now.
ain't
Well,
fighting
again,
him
why
next.
would Errol fight him?
Yeah.
That makes no sense for Errol Spence.
I know.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Errol's done got to this point in his career where he's like looking for, and Boots is not there yet.
Yeah.
He's the new guy on the come up. But again,
He just needs fights.
he
He needs to be tested.
When's the last time you put the gloves on and went a few rounds with some bags, some people, anything?
Day before yesterday.
Yeah?
Is it
I stay in the gym.
is it true that you were a fighter that amateur only or no?
Yeah, amateur only. Yeah.
Why didn't you go pro?
I used to have hand problems and all kinds of things that would go wrong at the most inopportune time. And real talk. And then it's like my mom she was like, "Baby, God got something else in store for you. Got something else in store for you, and let's try getting some education."
Oh, that's
And then
so sweet.
I figured it out and went and got my bachelor's and my master's degree, and and then got the opportunity to come work with Floyd, and the rest is history.
Yeah, Floyd has said in many interviews that you are the most shrewd businessman he knows, and it works well for both of you. You're so smart.
Yeah, I stay in my lane, let him do his thing, and that's how we were able to always work. It's because it was like he always knew he could count on me, no matter what. Like he could call 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I wasn't in the club. I was there waiting on the phone call, and I would be at the gym in 20, 30 minutes, and it'd be just me and him in the gym at that time. Me, him, and Sean.
Yeah.
We would just be in the gym. Everybody else is out at the clubs drinking and doing whatever, and he could always count on me. Always.
Oh, Leonard, we're gonna have to wrap
I
because they're like
know.
wrap. I know, but
So
Leonard,
I definitely can come back. You guys tell me when, and I'm
okay.
there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
That's
we'll get our
dope.
schedule. We appreciate you coming.
I
know
promise
it
you
was a
that. I
busy day
promise
for
you that.
you, but thank you for
Yeah.
squeezing us in. We had to. She got her flight changed. I got a babysitter, and you know how hard it is. To have a
Yeah,
babysitter.
that's why I was definitely not missing this. And again, I have so much respect for what you ladies do.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
anything we can do on our end to support you and to uplift you, because I love what you guys do.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Y'all don't get
much.
enough credit for your boxing knowledge, and because we know what it
Put
is.
the camera on this man.
We know what it is, and at the end of the day, it's like that. When you working together works, and so anything that I can personally do on my end, I'm gonna always support you, ladies.
Thank
always.
you, Leonard.
Wait, here, before you close, here's a secret. No one wants to hear women talk about boxing, but our audience is 98% male.
Period.
98% male.
Yeah.
Well, but guess what? You guys know what you're talking about.
That's true.
Yes.
You know what you're talking about. You're not just shooting from the hip. You know
we
what you're
gotta-
talking about.
All
We
right,
working on 'em.
we gotta go. I know we're getting them big fish, but thank you, Leonard, for coming in and taking time out.
Anytime.
Jeandra, we gotta wrap, but again, a great episode. Make sure you guys tune in to all of our episodes on our YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter. We'll just put it up there with all of
Spotify, all that shit.
Spotify, our podcast. Again, I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
See you guys at the fights. Bye, guys.